Honey and Vinegar, Poetic Awakening, Part 2. Before we begin, remember to stay on through the end of the video to hear or to receive a writing prompt or some type of activity to support you on your grief journey. Let's begin. Journal entry, January 20th, 2005. Last night, while I was sleeping, Dante came home and crawled into bed. I was sleeping only in a pair of shorts that he likes to see me in, and I floated awake as he began pulling them off. It's been our custom so far in our relationship to make love as much as possible, and so feeling my full nakedness beneath the warm cotton of the comforter was no surprise, but quite delightful. I guess I must have been a bit exhausted from my day because I fell back to sleep. When I awoke, I felt his warm kisses on me. However, for some reason, his act made me flash back to the cold, dark nights when my stepfather would sneak into my bedroom and go head first under my covers. I freaked out. I knew it was my man, but I didn't. I was 12 years old again, but I wasn't. I protested, told him to stop, but Dante was determined to please me, especially since he thought I was angry with him when he had gone out to the bar earlier that night. I begged, I shouted, I pushed until confused and angry, he stormed out of our bedroom and found rest on the chaise lounge in the downstairs living room. I'm 30 years old and confused about why now these memories are coming back. I thought I was over the madness. I thought I was in a different place. But now already the stomach aches and the disconnectedness of my teenage years have returned. I want more than ever now to be able to talk to my father. It's as if through him I could pretend and even make myself believe that I had been born again. I was no longer that little girl, that victim. I'm a warrior. I'm a survivor. So why then now? I'm back at 13, sitting in the principal's office telling her what a horrible life I've had. I feel ashamed. I can barely look people in the eye, let alone Dante. Poem number 11. I wait to see what the end gonna be while growing tired of breathing and fighting. When will this war end? The battle that is fought daily within my soul, the battle to live or to let die, the battle to fight for change or succumb to the changes, the different mind states that are so prevalent in what we call modern times. In my past lives, I believe I cashed out when I had all that I could stand. But now the trappings of this lifetime force me to look for other options. Journal entry, January 21st, 2005. This morning, Anthony very articulately reported out to me the news that said a famous actor and comedian had sexually assaulted a woman. And while I was alarmed by the news, I was in awe of the fact that my child of 9 years old could elocute. So I don't know that word, but just that I was very proud of him. I was just as proud the other day when I saw the garage door open by remote because Dante had made it so. Yesterday, when I was having my little breakdown, Dorsey said that she knew that I was not happy with my present situation, but I think she's wrong. I know that Dante hasn't found a job yet, and I'm not with him because I need a man. Honestly, I could care less about having a man, but truthfully, I have faith that everything will work out. And even more so, I love my little family. Strider told me that if the only problems we're having are about money, then that's something that can be worked with. I think so too. But now something else is happening. I'm going back. Yesterday, I was in eighth grade again, reliving all the agitation, sickness, uneasiness in my body. I don't want to go back there again. Lord, help me. Poem number 12. They said it was strange that I could last so long. Thought it strange that I remained so strong. My road was rough, but I couldn't give up. Many times wanted to, sometimes tried, soul tossed aside, but still I survived. And not in a superficial sense. Because back talking is meaningless. I wish all I had to deal with was naysayers, spirit decayers, but somewhere way back then, I lost a piece of me. Like the concubine in the Bible, I was cut in 12 different parts, but I don't care about the outside. I'm just looking for my heart. Poem number 13. I hope that trouble don't last always. I know it's best to be righteous in the last days. I know that things run in cycles and ups and downs. Soon my happy day will come around. Found my love on a lonely street, but I don't plan on losing it, no way. The way, the truth, and the life, following the steps of Christ, even though my grandma thinks I'm bound for hell, but I can never tell her the hope I bring and just listening and sharing in a stranger's sorrow. If I die today, I'll live tomorrow in someone's heartfelt memory. And righteous or not, that's enough for me. Poem number 14. Today I am swimming in the afterglow of love, but afraid of what has happened before. I can no longer ignore the hurt I've hid inside. From age 5, I was made to survive and pretend that I was too tough to be hurt. I buried childhood memories in the dirt while the headstone read, once here but now gone. But I need my name to be carried on and not forgotten. Though life has been rotten, I still can taste the sweetness of my daddy's arms and papa's laughter, and know that after all today, there still is love. Journal entry, February 15th, 2005. Tonight, I screamed at Anthony for coming home upset that he couldn't spend more time with his mom. I made him call his mother and ask her if she had done all that she could to get him back. He called her, but I'm sure she lied. I don't know. I guess I was just so hurt that every Tuesday and Thursday he comes home frowned up. He told Dante that it was his fault that he couldn't spend any time with his mom. I asked him if for the 2 hours he was with his mom, if she had asked if he was hungry. In the meantime, I'm at home preparing his dinner. I don't want him to not love his mom, but he needs to know the truth. He treats me and Dante as if we are prison wardens, punishing him by bringing him home with us. So I just snapped off, screaming, crying, telling him, making it clear. I hope that his mom had every opportunity to get him and his sisters back, but she didn't. I have so many issues of my own with my anger. It's difficult to teach Anthony otherwise. Sometimes I think that I may have too much of a vested interest in people's lives. On some days, when I'm feeling a bit blasphemous, I like to say that I know how Jesus feels, always giving of oneself, but never having that sacrifice reciprocated. When my sister was born, I immediately took on the big sister role. It was my job to protect her, make sure everything was okay for her. That was the promise I made to my mother. However, this was not an easy task. From birth, if it's possible for a baby or toddler to be eccentric, then she was. My grandfather would always remark in response to some strange act that she committed, she's been here before. She was very unique in a really weird sort of way, but I took my responsibility and love for her very seriously. We were a little over 5 years apart. By the time I was 10, our mother was getting married to a man that was neither one of our fathers. I can't really say too much about who he was in the preliminary stages of our relationship. He was nothing more than a satellite orbiting around our mother. We, or I, thought nothing of him because he was nothing to us. After about a year of marriage, he was beating my sister and raping me. Despite the fact that the Milwaukee courts didn't bother about investigating to identify the definite link between the different forms of abuse against the children, I, at 11 years old, had a very clear understanding. Either I let him do what he wanted to my body, or he would mercilessly beat my little sister, whom I swore to protect. She would go days without being able to eat dinner because of some lie that she told. She was 5 years old. They weren't lies that she was telling, but fantasies, stories that she made up about alien beings or talking animals. So, needless to say, oftentimes I sacrificed my body to buy my little sister some peace. I did that because by the sixth grade, I knew my life was over. This was it for me. Therefore, I did what I had to do so that she might have a better chance at life. After she had gone several days with no food, standing on one leg in the corner, I would come home, stand in front of him, and take off my clothes. Afterwards, He'd be so pleased with himself that he would cook a big dinner for us and take Latoya to the corner store and let her pick out anything she wanted. No one had to tell me that my body's pain and her relief were joined by a cause and effect relationship. My death meant her life. But sometimes I wish that I could have been selfish. I wish that seeing him beat her little body right in front of me didn't infuriate me so. A few times I believed that she would die if I didn't stop soon, if he didn't stop soon. Sometimes I wish, like my mother, I could have looked away and concerned myself only with my own wounds or my own self-preservation. I wish I could have eaten my dinner when she wasn't given any, or go outside and play when she was made to do squats in the corner. But instead, I sat there and watched, made sure things didn't go too far. And when I believed they had, I walked my little half dead self back and forth in front of him, hoping to get his attention. So I'm sure this is why I become so angry with her when I see that she squandered away the life that I worked so hard to protect. I'm sure that if and when Jesus looks down at us and sees us broken in spite of, defeated in spite of, and walking into confusion and despair in spite of his sacrifice, I'm sure, just like I do, I'm sure he gets a little bit pissed off. Poem number 15. All grown up now, no cares in the world. You always wanted to make your own mistakes. Learn for yourself, even though the road to hell was already paved. I bet you never thought it ran so deep. And even now, so separated from reality, the bright eyes, button noses, and nice teeth that first configured and clung to your womb, now shower kisses and tears in two different places, seeking refuge in the arms of two different faces, longing for the semblance of security that you once provided. As mother, you are both their joy and pain, their hope and despair, a familiarity with unknown certainty. You have no excuse for leaving your children that way. And if you dare say that no one loved you, well, at least they did. And if no one else cared, why then I can't explain the despair in their eyes, filled to the rim like heavy bags that weigh down their souls, slowing their progress while you run free in the torrential rains that your constant movements make. You have traveled to the point of no return, but they still keep the light on for you. Adore your dirty draws, as the old folks say. Wish the church still had a mourning bench to wash your sins away. Sugar and spice, everything nice, but your girls ball up their fists and seethe in anger when they have to say goodbye once again. And your son, who is drowning in your ebbs and tides, cannot bear to abide in his own loveless skin. So he carves signs into his flesh, the mystery of his pain revealed, concealed only from himself, because his face speaks volumes. At night, he eases into drug-induced sleep, praying for your return, paying for it with the blood of self-sacrifice that innocently drips onto his SpongeBob sheets. Journal entry, March 8th, 2005. I was trying to work on something, but not too much came out. Dante's mad at me because I didn't say I love you when he called and my classroom was full. I hate feeling like I have to pass a test. I hate when people let their insecurities rule them. One day, I might just resign to live life like everyone else with all the drama. Actually, I grew tired of soap operas in high school. I sure don't want to live one. But I guess there's some security in being insecure. Right now, the rationale behind that eludes me. Tonight, Anthony told his mom that he had a new family and wasn't too much studying her. I'm happy, or rather proud and sad. He shouldn't at such a young age feel like there's no use with some people, especially his own mom. Thank you for joining me for uh, Honey and Vinegar, the chapter on Poetic Awakenings. In your grief journals, I want you to first do a body scan and try to locate where your grief is. Um, and figure out like a way to express it so that it doesn't get trapped in your body. A lot of research talks about um, like the body. I think the body keeps score and how our bodies hold like certain traumas and things of that nature. So do a body scan. Where is your grief? And then think of a counter activity to that. If your grief is making you exhausted and tired, then what would be a counter activity? Like maybe go take a walk. Um, if your grief makes you isolate, then maybe go outside and go to some place or commit to some social gathering with friends, of course, or with loved ones. But try to locate the grief and then try to find a way to work it out. Um, and maybe even that thing is nonsensical. I'll just offer up really quickly that for some reason I started baking um, peach cobblers from scratch when my dad passed. And I still to this day don't know why. But maybe something in you or something in me just needed to express that. So identify a creative or physical outlet for your grief and work through it. You can cry on your walks, you can cry whenever you want to, but you can cry while baking pie. I did. But just find a creative and or physical outlet so that hurt and trauma doesn't curl you up and get stuck in your body. If you have any ideas for like counter actions to dealing with grief, please share them in the comments. I'd love to read them. All right, take care of yourselves. Until next time.